Okay, the last lecture for this lesson, let's talk about media. Media is the plural of the word medium. So a single channel of communication would actually be called a medium of communication. And a medium is just simply something that mediates or negotiates between two things. So in communication, it's our media which mediates between us, carrying the message from us to another person. It's the mediator between the two of us in communication. And that's where the word media comes from. Marshall McLuhan popularized the idea that humans extend themselves into the environment. And when they extend themselves, they form something which mediates between themselves and others. So therefore, a conversation is a medium of communication. The idea of extension is interesting. Right now, I'm sitting at my desk on a Thursday evening recording this video, but in doing so, I'm creating media, and by it, I'm extending myself several weeks into the future when you will finally watch it. And I'm also extending myself into your computer screen. I don't actually exist there, but I do have, by virtue of extension, a presence there. And that's an interesting effect of media. When we talk about media and communication, we're not just talking about mass media like TV or radio. It includes that, but it isn't just that. How do humans extend themselves? Through writing, through books, through money, through radio, television, movies, computers, and yeah, even our cars are an extension of ourselves, and we actually use our cars to communicate. You can communicate anger very easily with your car. Marshall McLuhan also said that the medium is the message, and this is what he's kind of his famous quote that he's most famous for. And in saying that, what he means is that media allows itself becomes the message or part of the message, and so media allows new ways of messaging. Every time we invent a new form of media, we create a new way of messaging. You think about what life was like not that long ago when you didn't have text messaging, and how much life has changed since you had since you got a cell phone and began text messaging. And then there's always new ways of trying to make that even better. So each new media that is invented allows new ways of communicating, and those new ways then transform the message. So we actually change our message to adapt to the media that we're using. So media is both shaped by the culture, but the media also shapes the culture. And as a result, every new media that we invent accelerates change within our culture. Anthropologist Michael Wesch posted this video several years ago. It hasn't been updated, and so the technology mentioned in it is already out of date. But I think what's fascinating about it, it shows how the changes in the way we use written text have actually changed the way we think, or challenging the way we have to think. So watch this carefully. So what did you think of that? Just a few quick things about media. Media itself becomes a filter in communication. So how we use or what media we use filters how we're saying things. Media influences the agenda, what is pushed and how it's pushed. Some media are more effective with some agendas. Movies, for instance, are not neutral. They're designed to share the creator's agenda, some more than others. Media causes social change. Media disseminates social change. Media drives homogenization, making us all more similar. It allows uniformity. It allows community, and it aligns me with others. Media can also be polarizing. What we see today is not what we had years ago. In the past, there were only a few networks, and basically because they were competing for the same audience, they brought similar messages and brought a greater uniformity. But now the internet fosters multiple new types of community, and that causes polarization. People are not listening to the same media. They're listening to media that is curated just for them by an algorithm that says this is what you need to hear because of the things that you've already said and the things you already believe. And so we're not hearing each other. We're being put aside from each other. We're not even connecting with each other the way we used to anymore. We sometimes wouldn't think of it this way, but Jesus had a media policy, and his media policy favored the masses, not the elite. Whereas most of the communication, especially religious communication of his day, favored the elite, he took it to the masses. He focused on parables. He told them many things in parables, it says in Matthew 13:3. In Matthew 13:34, Jesus spoke all these things to the crowd in parables. He did not say anything to them without using parables. Why? That was his choice of media, his policy on how to communicate with people he wanted to reach. He used different strategies that were common in the community at his time. So one way in which teaching was done in Jesus's day was through using kind of a rhythmic chanting song that psalms and words that people needed to learn were spoken that way. They weren't spoken in ordinary tone, but there was kind of a chanting song to it. So literally, Jesus would have taken that common structure and he would have been an oral poet. And you can look at things like this. This is the Lord's Prayer translated into modern Syriac, which is the closest language available today to ancient Aramaic, which would have been the language that Jesus would have used. And when you look at that, look at the rhythm and look at the rhyming phrases at the end of each line. This came out more like a chant or a poem. And Jesus did this so that people remembered what he spoke. If you ever wonder how people heard what Jesus said and remembered it years later, the disciples who followed him and heard his message over and over again, they learned it. They learned how it was said because he said it in, he likely said it in the tradition of the rabbi by chanting it this way. It comes out also in this is Matthew 5:22, where it says, "I tell you, anyone who's angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Anyone who says to a brother or sister, Raka, is answerable to the court or the Sanhedrin, and anyone who says you fool will be in danger of the fire of hell." The word for judgment, court, and hell rhyme in this passage. And then we ourselves make choices of media according to different needs. We might choose according to personal needs like gratification or preference. Does it satisfy my values? Does it satisfy what I want? I choose my media for me. We can also choose media according to rules of efficiency. Is there one media that meets our goal better than another media? And can we get more across by using that medium instead? We choose media according to availability. So abundant choices of media allow for more creativity. But when the choices are limited, we accommodate. So we choose media appropriate to the context, the social settings, the general cultural people group preferences, the preferences of the group we're trying to reach. We're looking for the best media to use. And that's why Jesus was careful in his choice of media. What would the people remember? What did the ordinary people who didn't read and write and hadn't studied the Torah, what would they hear and how would they hear it? And how would they remember it? That was part of his media policy. We need to think carefully about why we choose certain media and what what opportunities that they give us and what limitations they give us as well. Okay, and then posted in your course room are a few other examples that I've just taken off of YouTube or audio clips from the internet that just show different ways of communicating. And I want you to listen to them. Just take the time with them, enjoy them. They're kind of fun. And then ask, what is being communicated here? Why did this person choose this medium to communicate that? What impact does that medium have on you or on the other people? What are some of the things you see going on there? So watch those carefully and enjoy them. All right, so that's it for this lesson.